What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our college football channel. National championship game coming up tonight, Washington versus Michigan. But in this video, I'm going to give you my final rankings for the 2023-24 college football season. Really quickly, I'll kind of give you a prediction for the game tonight. I didn't do a video on it. I said going into the playoffs that both semifinal games, I felt like either team could win. And I feel like any of the four teams could win the national championship, and I still feel that way. I mean, I really do. It wouldn't surprise me if Washington won. It wouldn't surprise me if Michigan won. It's almost like flip a coin. I think Michigan is the overall better team, but that explosive offense for Washington, it could make the difference in this game. We will see tonight, but every time I've doubted Washington, they've been able to win. I picked them to lose in the Pac-12 championship, picked them to lose to Texas. And on the other side for Michigan, this is a team that I picked preseason to win the national championship. I picked them all year long on my playoff prediction videos that I did during the season. I never changed my pick. I stuck with Michigan the entire season until the actual playoff bracket was revealed, and I did go with Alabama. Obviously, I regret that decision, but I'm going to go back to the team that I felt like in the preseason to win it all. I'm going to say that Michigan wins tonight. I think it'll be a close game. I think the difference in the game will be the defensive line for Michigan. Can they get to Michael Penix? Can they get some sacks, some pressures to disrupt this Washington offense enough? Because I think Michigan's going to be able to score on Washington. I think they'll score, 28, 31 points, kind of in that range. It's going to be up to their defense, though. Can they slow down this Washington offense? If they can get some pressure, I think they win. If they struggle there, if Washington has time, I don't see them being able to stop this Washington offense. These receivers are just too good. Michael Penix just too good. And I think Washington probably wins in that scenario. But I think the Michigan defensive line does just enough. I'm going to go Michigan in this one. But let's get to the rankings here. And this is just, I'm counting bowl season, but I'm also trying to keep in mind the opt-outs. It's kind of tricky to do. So that's why you still see Oregon State ranked at number 21, despite going 8-5. But they had so many opt-outs, so I don't really even look at that bowl game as a loss for them. You could almost just say they were 8-4. But how about Northwestern and Maryland and West Virginia, all finishing the year really strong, winning their bowl games? Those three teams sneak into the rankings. Teams that were not ranked. I don't know if they were ranked at all during the season. Maybe Maryland early in the year. I don't think I ever had these three teams ranked. Northwestern, the biggest surprise of the year. We talked about that a few weeks ago. Maryland, a nice strong finish against West Virginia as well. West Virginia, a very quiet 9-4. And NC State, same thing, 9-4 for them, despite them losing their bowl game, but still had a really good year. And so that's what I've got, 21 through 25. Moving on to 16 through 20. Kansas, they were kind of quiet this year. They get to 9-4, win their bowl game. Kansas State with that one over NC State. Oklahoma State, we've got them at number 18. 10 wins for Oklahoma State. Clemson at number 17, a nice win over Kentucky to close things out. And then Tennessee at number 16, really impressed with what Tennessee was able to do against a really good Iowa defense. This is a Tennessee team that I think has a lot of momentum going into next year, and they could be a really dangerous team. Watch out for the Vols next season if that bowl game was any indication of what is to come. All right, let's go 11 through 15. I've got Oklahoma number 15. Tough loss to Arizona for them in their bowl game. Notre Dame, impressive against Oregon State, but again, you have all the opt-outs for Oregon State. I don't know how much you can really read into that game. Penn State, number 13, tough loss for them. Boy, that offense, they've got to get, I know they fired their offensive coordinator. They've got to get things figured out. They have the talent. This Penn State team has the talent to be pretty good next year and be a playoff team, but if they're going to have a chance to make a real run at a national championship, they've got to get better on offense. But I do believe they have the players, the pieces in place, if they can get that scheme figured out. LSU, number 12, they win their bowl game. A little bit of a shaky performance against Wisconsin. Nussmeier, of course, playing quarterback. Jaden Daniels opted out. And then Arizona at number 11, one of the hottest teams in the country. They finished the season really, really strong. They've got a lot of momentum, and in fact, they're possibly probably are the favorites in the Big 12 next year, the new Big 12. So Arizona, watch out for them. This is a team that has a really, really good shot at making the college football playoff. Because remember, all you got to do is pretty much win the Big 12, and you're going to be in. And you're probably going to get a top 4 seed as well. So Arizona could be a top 4 team, at least in the playoff rankings next season. This, again, was a team that just got really, really hot down the stretch. Let's go now to 6 through 10. I've got Ohio State at number 10. They go 11-2. Kyle McCord transferring out of there. it's going to be an interesting team. They bring in the Kansas State quarterback. I will see how he fits in there. But the defense is really good for Ohio State. That's why they're a top 10 team this year, and not the offense. The offense really a letdown. Missouri at number 9, they were a big surprise this season, and they did it on both sides of the ball. This was a really good team. Ole Miss, we saw how they finished, 11-2, really great year for them. Oregon at number 7, they blow out Liberty in their bowl game, and then Alabama, after losing in the playoff semifinal game, they fall to 12-2. I've got them at number 6, and then we go to the top 5. This is what it looks like for me. I've got Texas at number 5. Texas finishes 12-2. Really good year for the Longhorns, beating Alabama, getting to the college football playoff. Maybe they take that next step next year. We'll see. Florida State number 4. I know they got absolutely demolished by Georgia, but you have to look at the roster. I mean, they had so many opt-outs. I couldn't rank them ahead of Georgia, though, just because of that game. I don't really want to count that as a loss for Florida State, but I believe, and I know plenty of people will argue, I believe the playoff should have been Michigan, Washington, Georgia, and Florida State. I think those were the 4 best teams. Florida State deserved to be there. I feel like they earned it going undefeated. We've talked about that in the past, but the Noles, to me, still a top 4 team, even though they lost really bad. But again, you had all the opt-outs. That's why I'm still ranking them at number 4. The Georgia, very impressive. And another thing about, we take into account injuries and all that. Ladd McConkey and Brock Bowers were not healthy against Alabama. If they had been healthy, Georgia, I think, probably wins that game. And I think they are a better team than Alabama when both teams are healthy. So I think Georgia, they deserve to be number 3. And then whoever wins tonight, they go to number 1. Whoever loses goes to number 2 between Washington and Michigan. It doesn't really matter what happens in that game. I don't care if it's a 30-point win. I still would rank the loser of that game at number 2 because of what all they did. I mean, they went 14-0 to this point, and so absolutely that's your 1 and 2. So Michigan or Washington at number 1, the loser at number 2. That's how I would rank the teams with these final rankings for 2023. We'll have a way too early top 25 for 2024 coming up tomorrow, so make sure you watch for that video and enjoy the national championship game.